And welcome back here, folks, here to the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. Remember, before we begin this program today, remember to like and subscribe here to the Sports Talk Nation here on YouTube. Also follow us on the Twitter at OpenMikeNJ and Facebook.com/OpenMikeProgram. So, let's go right at it. The big news today, of course, involving the New York Yankees, and really not surprising news. Although if you've talked to a lot of Yankee fans, and I've talked to a lot of Yankee fans, of course, I have a lot of friends who are Yankee fans, this was not a day looked upon with great joy. And that, of course, being Aaron Boone coming back, the Yankees giving Boone a 3-year extension through the year 2024. There's a 4th-year club option for 2025. So Boone is going to be here for the foreseeable future. And obviously with the changes to the coaching staff, Marcus Thames, the hitting coach, going by the wayside, Phil Nevin, the third base coach, going by the wayside, and that, of course, a move not too surprising, especially after the wild card game where he sent Aaron Judge around third on a double by Giancarlo Stanton that was off the Green Monster at Fenway. Probably should have held Judge at third base. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. And, of course, the Yankees' season has ended. As I've described on this channel many times throughout the course of the season, the Yankees had a very strange season this year. They're a 500 team. Again, they're a 500 team at one point this year. They found a way to win 50 games in their 50 of the last 80 games to get into the playoffs. Had to win on the last day just to get in. And it was a year where you saw a lot of guys underachieve. Guys like, obviously, like Garrett Cole certainly comes to mind after the start that he had to the year. Started off great, and then, of course, with all the Spider Tack controversy, really didn't look like the same pitcher after that. He also had nagging injuries throughout the year, and this was really a rotation that didn't have a lot of really great starting pitching for that matter. They're kind of piecing it together throughout the year. This is a team that's been battled injuries all year, whether it be to Luke Voigt or Gleyber Torres or Corey Kluber, who missed a huge chunk of time after that no-hitter that he had against the Texas Rangers. So injuries throughout the course of the year. Bottom line is, this was not a great team. This was a team that had a lot of ups and downs throughout the course of the year. And I know that a lot of Yankee fans were upset. They didn't like the way Aaron Boone managed the team. They didn't like the fact that this team didn't win in October. And with Boone as the manager, haven't won in October. But let's be honest here with ourselves, folks. There's a number of reasons why, if you really think about it, why Aaron Boone's coming back. One is, take a look at his record. 328 wins, 218 losses. He is, I believe, certainly in the top 10, if not top 9, in managers all-time in Yankees history based on win percentage alone in the regular season. They've been to the playoffs every year. He has been the manager of the team. Granted, they haven't broken through a LCS yet and gotten to a World Series. I totally understand that. And, of course, when it comes to the Yankees, it's all about trying to get to and win a World Series, or it's unacceptable in the eyes of many. But they've been to the playoffs every single year. And he's the perfect manager for what is going on today in baseball, and that, of course, being with front offices that have full control and full autonomy over what goes on between the lines on the field. So, from that standpoint, Brian Cashman certainly gave Boone a ringing endorsement. A manager is only as good as the players he's got, Cashman said. If he was entering the free agent market, I believe he'd be the #1 managerial candidate in baseball. There's a number of different vacancies, and we would be going to the market looking for someone like him. Of course, Cashman even put onus on himself, saying that it's up to him to fix a lot of the deficiencies on this ball club. So again, it goes to the point of, with a lot of these teams, and the Yankees are no different than anybody else right now, especially Brian Cashman, you want a manager that you can work with. And Aaron Boone is the perfect guy for Brian Cashman, who he can coexist with and work with, and yes, even, as in the case with analytics, advise, for that matter, who stays off, who pitches, which guys are going to pitch on which day. The game has completely changed from that standpoint, and as I said, the front office, as we all know, has the key role in those decision-making. And I remember years ago, when they left Joe Girardi out to dry for several days, the thought was, at the time, I remember reading, was that maybe Girardi and Cashman didn't exactly coexist too well, and they were looking for a guy who would be able to do that, and that's what Boone does. So that's a big part of it, and the players like playing for him. I mean, Aaron Judge has come out defended it, has come out to support Aaron Boone. Giancarlo Stanton has supported Aaron Boone. I remember even reading a quote from Gio Urshela earlier, a couple weeks ago, supporting Aaron Boone. So the players like playing for the guy. They win. They've won a lot of games here, and they've been in the postseason every year. So from that standpoint, it's really nuts. It shouldn't be surprising in that regard that he's coming back. Now, of course, with the Yankees, there's always going to be the pressure. You got to win. You got to win. You got to win. And I'm sure if things don't change in the next couple of years, maybe there would be a change from that standpoint. Even Hal Steinbrenner saying, we have a person, a manager in Aaron Boone who possesses the baseball acumen and widespread respect in our clubhouse to continue to guide us forward. As a team and as an organization, we must grow, evolve, and improve. We need to get better, period. I mean, there's no other way to cut it. They have a lot of work to do to the Yankees. And I mean, you take a look at the construction of this roster, and it's going to be very intriguing to see what kind of moves this team can make. Now, Brian Cashman did allude to the idea that Gleyber Torres would play second base. See, they feel that he's better at second base moving forward. Does that mean the Yankees are now going to go into the market for shortstop? Guys like Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, Corey Seager, even Javier Baez out there as free agents. And could one of those guys end up signing a big contract with the Yankees? Now, keep in mind, the Yankees payroll-wise are, at $231 million in committed salary that I see here moving forward into 2022. You already have $29 million to Stanton, $36 million to Cole. You still owe Chapman for another year, $18 million. Judge is going to be arbitration eligible. We'll see if they're able to tear it up and give him a new contract. So there's questions there. And remember, even DJ LeMahieu just signed a 6-year contract. What are you going to do with him? Does he go to first base? And even a guy like Anthony Rizzo, do you bring him back? He's a free agent, make him a DH? Do you split time with him and, let's just say, LeMahieu at first base? That's going to be a question moving forward. Gio Urshela, where is he? Is he going to be your third base moving forward for this team? So the Yankees do have questions. Even Aaron Hicks coming back from a year where you lost year with an injury. They're in the midst of that ridiculous 7-year, $70 million contract with him. So if you are a Yankee fan, I know Yankee fans are upset. If you want to blame anybody for the way this team is being constructed, and the fact that it has a lot of long, lengthy contracts, and it has a lot of long, lengthy contracts with players who have underachieved or who have been injured and have had histories of injury, you got to look at the way this team was constructed by Brian Cashman. They have to fix this team. They have to get a little bit faster. They have to get more athletic. They need more hitters from the left side of the plate, or certainly better hitters from the left side of the plate. I don't think, no offense to Brett Gardner, his time is coming to an end. And also, you take a look at Joey Gallo. I don't think the Yankees can go with him hitting at 150 or 190 for that matter from the left side of the plate. Do you want to move on from him? He has another year left on his contract that they acquired from Texas. So they got a lot of questions to the Yankees moving forward. So they answered the obvious, being that Aaron Boone's coming back for next year. But can they do enough to make a difference in this division? In a division where you have the Red Sox, who have always seemed to find ways to get better every single year. And look at this year. They weren't that great this year with the Red Sox. They were, at one point they were in first place in the division. Then they kind of slipped off in the second half of the year, got the wild card, and then all of a sudden they've gone gangbusters here in the playoffs, and they look like they're in control going to the World Series again. The Rays, of course, all of everything they have been able to do, and the way they have been able to reinvent, construction of a roster as far as pitching is concerned, and all the young players they have. And they don't have a very big salary cap. The Blue Jays, same thing. All young talented players they have. Yankees have a lot of old guys. They have some young guys, but they have a lot of old guys, and guys need to prove things. They have a lot of questions to answer to the Yankees moving forward into this offseason. But as for now, the big question, as I said at the top, the big question, the one that had an obvious answer to it, is now official, that Aaron Boone is coming back. Now, for those wondering, and I know a lot of Yankee fans say, going, woe is us because, our team, that your team brought back Aaron Boone. You didn't like the way he was managing. It could be it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. Oh, we're going to talk about this. The New York Mets whiffing at the possibility of getting a president of baseball operations. We are definitely going to talk about this in another video. Mets still looking for a president of baseball operations, still looking for a general manager, still looking for a manager. We didn't do a wrap-up on the Mets. I wanted to a few weeks ago, just didn't have the time to do it. But we're going to talk about this. And that is, boy, do I have a lot to say. As I said a couple weeks ago when I last had a chance to do a video, got a lot to say about the Mets. We're going to talk about them. And if you like and subscribe, catch you here later this week. So remember, folks, like and subscribe right here to the Sports Talk Nation. Follow social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter. And remember, like and subscribe at Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram. We'll talk to you next time.